Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Where is it? Text 42 of Canto 1, Chapter 7. Tata khritam pashuvat pashabhaddham avan mukham karma jugupsitena niriksha krishnapakritam buroh sutam vamasvabhava kripaya nanamacha. Please repeat. Tata kritam pashuvat pashabhaddham avan mukham karma jugupsitena niriksha krishna pakritam guru sutam vamasvabhava kripaya nanama cha. Tata, thus, ahritam, brought in, pashuvat, like an animal, pashabhaddham, tied with ropes, avak mukham, without a word in his mouth, karma, activities, jugupsitena, being heinous, nirikshya, by seeing, Krishna, Draupadi, apakritam, the doer of the degrading, Guruho, the teacher, Sutam, son, Vama, beautiful, Swabhava, nature, Kripaya, out of compassion, Nanama, offered obeisances, Cha, and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, HH Bhakti Vinoda Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. Sri Suta Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Ashwatthama, who was bound with ropes like an animal and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respects as a Brahmana. Purport: Ashwatthama was condemned by the Lord himself and he was treated by Arjuna just like a culprit, not like the son of a Brahmana or teacher. But when he was brought before Srimati Draupadi, she, although begrieved for the murder of her sons, and although the murderer was present before her, could not withdraw the due respect generally offered to a Brahmana or to the son of a Brahmana. This is due to her mild nature as a woman. Women as a class are no better than boys, and therefore they have no discriminatory power like that of a man. Ashwatthama proved himself to be an unworthy son of Dronacharya or of a Brahmana, and for this reason he was condemned by the greatest authority. Lord Sri Krishna, and yet a mild woman, could not withdraw her natural courtesy for a Brahmana. Even to date, in a Hindu family, a woman shows proper respect to the Brahmana caste. However fallen and heinous a Brahmana Bandhu may be, but the men have begun to protest against Brahma Bandhus who are born in families of good Brahmanas, but by action are less than Shudras. The specific words used in the shloka are Vama Swabhava, mild and gentle by nature. A good man or woman accepts anything very easily, but a man of average intelligence does not do so. But anyway, we should not give up our reason and discriminatory power just to be gentle. One must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. We should not follow Ashwatthama may be respected by a good-natured woman, but that does not mean that he is as good as a genuine Brahmana. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatana Vitamatam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamsya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This chapter is entitled The Son of Drona Punished. We know the incident of Drona's son, Ashwatthama, who killed the sons of the Pandavas. In some place I've seen it mentioned that he thought they are the Pandavas and killed, but happened to be sons. Another place is mentioned he knew that he was sons of the Pandavas and he killed them. The point is that Duryodhana was not very happy with what he did. He thought he will please Duryodhana, lying with his thighs broken in the battlefield. But Duryodhana didn't accept it. He said you shouldn't have done that. Kshatriyas will not accept that. Any Brahmana will not accept that. You do anything against rules, against Shastra, against injunctions, then those who are keepers of society, those who are Kshatriyas, who are watchdogs, they won't like what you did if you broke the rules. So in this case, Duryodhana proved to be a person who is a true Kshatriya in one sense, and he didn't like what you did. So Ashwatthama also released the Brahmastra in desperation after this. Arjuna and Krishna chased him and he released Brahmastra also. The Brahmastra was neutralized, and finally Arjuna got hold of Dronacharya's son, that is Ashwatthama, and bound him up with ropes. Like a culprit, like a very low-class person he was treated. He was not given respect anymore as a Brahmana son. With the culture and respect, he was not treated. And what is it, the type of treatment that will be given? Normally these type of things is never done to a Brahmana, to tie him up, bind him up. It's a big insult to a Brahmana. So he was brought like that to the palace, to the house, and there he could see that a scene was created. Actually, Krishna already told Arjuna, you kill him, finish him for what he has done. Arjuna brought him. Actually, he did not do exactly what Krishna said also. He brought him in front of the Pandavas, in front of Draupadi. Because he had promised Draupadi, you don't worry, I will bring that fellow. I will bring his head cut off, and you can stand on that head and take a bath. That was the vow of Kshatriya, of Arjuna. You can stand on that head and then you can take a bath. This is the same person who gave a vow that Dushasan's heart, I will, it's the Bhima who did that. that you can wet your hairs with the blood of Dushasana. These are all Kshatriyas. They will do what they talk. Bhima actually did it. He dug his bare fingers inside his heart and put out his heart. So beastly you may think it is. But it is so strong and so powerful. He did that and brought the blood, applied Dushasana's blood, and she applied it on her head. Till then she said, I'll never tie my hair. So she was not tying her hair. It was like, he left like this. Till you do it. So she did it. These are Kshatriyas. So Arjuna looks like a softer Kshatriya. He promised that you can stand on his head and take a bath. So he brought Ashwatthama in front of Draupadi. Now tell me, cut his head and give it to you and you can take a bath. This is what is supposed to be happening. And Krishna is already saying, kill him. We talk about slaughter, we talk about violence, we talk about all these things. At the same time, we read all these type of very violent activity. And you'll be wondering how. But Kshatriya life is a life of violence, where it is required only. Otherwise, they are noblemen. They will not indulge in violence. But revenge, anger, all these things is a part of Kshatriya life. So it is not surprising that they take these type of vows and fulfill it in front of their Kshatriya wives, who are also like that normally. Draupadi is also such a lady. She's a very powerful lady. It's a Kshatriya. Just like Kaikai. She helped her husband in battle. So these are very strongly will-powered ladies. They are not ordinary people. So that is why here it is surprising that as soon as she sees Ashwatthama bound up like this, a great insult to a Brahmana's son, she says immediately, untie him. Everything changed. It looks like everything changed. That same Draupadi is saying now a different thing. You can see decisions are made not according to only certain criterion that we normally think people make decisions on. Draupadi's attempt was made to make her naked, disrobed by Dushasana and Duryodhana. And necessary revenge was taken on them. But when it came to Ashwatthama, a Brahmana's son, Draupadi was an entirely different person. She didn't think of revenge. And what is at loss? Loss is her children. All 5 children were murdered by this person. Killed. Still, it is very amazing that she is choosing to say, first untie him, don't insult him. And she goes on to say, is he not the son of Dronacharya, who taught you how to shoot arrows, how to fight? Was he not your guru? And it is his son, and you're treating him like this. But he killed your children. That never mind. Why are you treating him like this? That seemed to be more important. That's why Prabhupada is arguing here and saying, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maiki. Prabhupada is arguing here and saying, actually, that is not acceptable, what Draupadi did. What? Telling him, untie. This is not the place to give respect to a person who is a Brahmana, but did not behave like a Brahmana. He done a heinous crime, murder. If a Brahmana, if the person who is supposed to protect you attacks you, should you not punish him? Because he is not doing his role properly. Right? If the mother is supposed to protect the child and she kills the child, then should this mother not go get a punishment or not? Because the child is totally dependent, fully dependent on the mother, and she turns out to be the opposite. Isn't it a gory crime? Horrible crime. So same way, a Brahmana is relied upon for good counsel, for advice. He will never misdirect you. What to speak about a Brahmana going and committing an action that is completely against Shastra? He is supposed to counsel you. Yajana, yajana, patana, patana, dana, parigraha. He is supposed to give you Vedic knowledge, teach you. He is supposed to read the Vedas. He is supposed to worship the Supreme Lords. And then he is supposed to help you to worship. He is supposed to give in kindness, charity. He is supposed to accept charity. These are all the good qualities of a Brahmana. And if that person turns around and becomes a murderer and murders you, it's completely unexpected. So he should be killed. According to Kshatriya rules and according to proper understanding of the Shastra, he should be killed. Such a person who is so harmful to society, who is not able to play the role that he is supposed to play, he should be disposed of. He should be killed. That is Shastra. And Krishna is saying so. Arjuna is wanting to do it, but he has come to ask Draupadi and the other Pandavas. Bhima is saying so, but Draupadi is saying, untie him immediately. You see how the whole thing changes. These Kshatriyas don't have the authority to do. It all depends on what Draupadi says. How the weight of the decision is shifted now to Draupadi. You must watch the dynamics here. Why is it that they are asking Draupadi what to do? Look at the power that women wield. This is Vedic society. The husband is not executing. The Krishna is not executing. Bhima is not executing. They are waiting for Draupadi to say. The whole decision is shifted to Draupadi. And she is exercising her decision. And she is saying, don't. Untie him first. What to speak of killing him? First untie him. It's very insulting for me to watch him like this. And she's arguing, is he not the son of the Brahmana who taught you all these things? How can you do this? Do you think I want to see his mother suffer the same thing I am suffering? My children are dead, killed by this person. Do you also want to be treated similarly by Ashwatthama's mother? These people are also nothing different from my son. They are also murderers. They killed my son. In one sense, it was pretty advanced thinking of Draupadi. Very noble thinking. She said, I don't want my action to make her suffer the same way I am suffering. What is the use of us being Kshatriyas then? We should complement, the Kshatriyas and the Brahmanas should complement each other. So she had a line of thought which was pretty convincing. But here is Prabhupada saying it's wrong. It's because of her Vama Swabhava. Because she is woman. She is expected to behave like that. And it is not that she is afraid of behaving what she is supposed to say and being what she is supposed to be in front of her husband or Krishna or even the king Yudhishthira. She is saying it, untie first. And they are all obeying it. They are untying him. But the real quintessence of this whole thing is Krishna comes out with a pakka solution. We can do what Draupadi did and we can do what Arjuna wants also. We can do both together. Everything can be accomplished. Total win-win solution. He gives. But the point here that Prabhupada is making, the purport is very important. Very beautiful purport. He is saying women are expected to be like that and they should be like that. That is the cultural norm. They should have feelings, sentiment, emotions. And that is a very important thing. They should not become dead, dry wood. And that happens if you just send them to a profession and make them do this, make them do that, and everything, that womanhood is sacrificed. But here in the Kshatriya clan, in between, the opportunity for her to express herself as a woman, and she is boldly doing so. She is boldly doing so, and her words are heard. And her words are heard. This is the meaning of the value given to a woman in Vedic culture. And these are powerful Kshatriyas, willing to go by what she says, although they don't like it. I'm not agreeing with what you say. He should be killed. And Prabhupada is here bringing the purport and saying, although the opposite happened actually, he's saying, correct. Because of her womanly swabhava only, she's saying, leave him alone. I don't want to see him killed. I don't want to see him killed. But the same woman was happy to get Dushasana's blood on her hair. He should die. He should die. But this person, he should not die. He has done it in a fit. He's not supposed to be like that. Or whatever. So Prabhupada is saying here, one must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. Ashwatthama may be respected by a good-natured woman, but that does not mean that he is as good as a genuine Brahmana. Powerful statement. Women will tell what they have to say and that they will do the needful. But men should do what they're supposed to do. A Kshatriya should do what he's supposed to do. This is an important thing. Many things in a society, like ISKCON, sometimes things definitely similar to this will happen in our society. But we should not be afraid of taking the proper decision because of sentiment or because of emotion or because of kindness. All this kindness and emotion should not be put in the wrong place. To develop a society of Brahmanas, to develop a society of good devotees is what is the desire of Prabhupada. And for that we should have discriminatory power. If something is wrong morally, ethically, shastrically, you must take action. Why? Because people are watching what you're going to do as leader. What you're going to do, people are all watching. Yadyad acharati sreshta tattat evetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate. They will all do what you did. And they will do 10 degrees lower. Right? So they're all watching, and therefore you must do the right thing. You must take the right decision. This is the burden of leadership. That is why many people don't like to be leaders. Why? I have to take all these hard decisions. And everybody will say all sorts of things about it. There will be a leftist, there will be a rightist opinion to it. Very few people have a moderate opinion. And then you have to field all these things. And your life will be filled with these type of opinions and this thing. Every leader has to face all these things. So for fear of that, people don't take any position of leadership. Although sometimes they don't take responsibility, want to enjoy the position of leadership. That's another special criterion in Kali Yuga. I want only the title, I don't want the responsibility. I want only authority, I don't want the responsibility. That is very cheap, low-class leadership. It's not at all leadership, by the way. But every leader knows he has to take the responsibility of going in and taking hard decisions, whether some of his followers agree with it or not. Because that is the right thing to do. That is the right thing to do. And we should not give up that discriminatory power. Not that we take decisions simply on the basis of some political agenda. We should take decision on the basis of what is right. Sometimes you're not supposed to say what is right. You should be politically correct. You should be politically right. And then we are politically right but actually wrong. But in spite of being asked to do certain things, leaders keep up their correct decision and execute. Only then human society will progress. Only then people will become aligned to the scriptural regulations. Only then people will know definitely what is right and what is wrong. And therefore refrain from doing wrong and keep on the right path. If you do not, people get very confused message. Why are you not doing something about it? Why is the leadership not doing something about it? And I become disappointed with the leadership. And then I feel sad that nobody is there to lead me, Tomorrow if something happens to me, what type of decision will I get? What type of protection I can expect from this type of leader? So it's very important for us, not only because we want to send a good message, we must do the right thing. We must stand by the right thing. Even though people think it is wrong. Because they don't have enough information. They don't know what to do. Kim karameti, kim akarameti, kavayopyatra mohita, tatte aham pravakshayami yajñatva mokshayate ashubhat. What to do and what not to do, even the most learned people don't know. It's not uncommon that people don't know what to do. And then when you give them good advice also, they won't do. Because of many other reasons. It's very difficult to act. And it's difficult to take a decision. It's difficult to lead, especially in Kali Yuga. So here is an instance which can be analyzed in terms of a decision-making process. And you can see they are all listening to what both sides said, because Krishna came up with a solution. You can kill him and not kill him. You can punish him and not punish him. Right? The best way is to insult him by shaving off his hair, taking out that massive, wonderful diamond he has on his head, bundle. Remove that and then strip him of all his so-called designation. Let him live. Because Draupadi doesn't want him killed. Okay, fine, he can live. But what we do to him is worse than death. The punishment that we can give him is something worse than death. He will live like this, without any designation, without any power, and everybody knows he did such a thing. So he will suffer greater punishment by constantly repenting it. So they shaved off his this thing and everything, and he became very weak. Instantly, all the tejas in his face and all came down. And he was roaming around in the forest like a mad guy. That's what happened to Ashwatthama. That is as good as saying that he is dead. Because nobody can hear from him anymore. Nobody will be able to meet him anymore and even think he is Ashwatthama, because he'll stop behaving like what he is. He's just a vegetable hanging around. That is worse punishment than death. That's what Krishna said. And that was happened to Ashwatthama. He was just set aside. He went into the forest. So, win-win situation. We gave him a punishment, maybe even a better punishment than just death. At the same time, he was kept alive. So you cannot be accused that you did Brahma Hatya. All for favoring Draupadi. Draupadi, I am not guilty of Brahma Hatya. So both worked out. In the end, that was Krishna's wisdom. But the point here Prabhupada says is, you must not become a woman in taking decisions. Simple point. Now some women are going to get angry when they hear this. But the point is that women will be women. They should be. They should not give up their womanhood. It's not something inferior that's being mentioned here. It's not inferior. It's supposed to be like that. But your decision may not be considered in waging a war and fighting the enemy and punishing people who did wrong. Okay, we'll look into it. Thank you. And he accommodated that decision. Krishna accommodated. But it may not always be possible to accommodate a woman's decision in dealing with criminals or people who break the law. Right? You have to, with a firm hand, take some decisions. That's the instruction Prabhupada is giving here. Prabhupada gives very strong instructions. Never to allow something wrong happen in front of you and not do anything. You will see in throughout Mahabharata, Ramayana, everywhere, the Kshatriya sees something that is wrong. He will immediately do something about it. He will never turn his face and run away. He'll never do that. That is the meaning of leadership. Leadership means something happens in front of you, you should do something about it. Otherwise, you become party to it. You will get the karma for those bad things. Because you have power, you have ability, and you don't do the right thing and watch the wrong thing happening, you become party to it. You will take part in getting reaction for it. This is the way society operates. This is the way the rules operate. You see, that is why Jatayu, he saw that Ravana is lifting Sita and she's screaming for help. And although he was very, very old, he had no much strength anymore, still he attacked Ravana. He knows that I'll get most probably killed because I don't have the energy to attack Ravana right now. But still he did something, I have to do something about it. And in the process he died. But he did something. When we see something wrong, we must do something about it. When Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, he was teaching all his followers and disciples that you are watching all these things not kept properly and you are keeping quiet. You are all rascals. He just used the word. He said, this is tamoguna. He saw somebody having chewed sugar cane and spit it near the toilet somewhere and it's burned a huge pile of it. They have dumped it there. Then he said, which rascal did this? All of you are watching this and keeping quiet. Nobody has found out who did it and corrected him. Nor do you clean it up. All of you take part in this. He got very wild. And he said, how can you keep quiet and watch this? That's not the meaning of a Brahmana. When you watch something is wrong, some place is dirty, something wrong happening, you must immediately say it. This is wrong, don't do it. Your duty is to say it. That a Brahmana's duty is to give correct instruction. Kshatriya's duty is to implement it. Brahmana's instruction should be implemented. Otherwise, what's the use of you being a Kshatriya? It's not a question of should I do, should I not do what he said. No. He is taking the reaction if he is giving you a wrong instruction. You implement it. Because if you don't do it, you are doing a much greater wrong. And you're going to get reaction for that. For disobedience of a Brahmana's order. That's also wrong. That's also wrong. So there's a lot of connection in all these things. You can't disobey a Brahmana's instruction. That's why you will see, this is what is dharma. When you watch adharma, you must immediately scream bloody murder. You must scream and you must correct it. If you don't, you are also adharmic. This is what happened to the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas fell down in Kali Yuga. They did not bother about right and wrong. They were themselves doing wrong. They were themselves doing wrong. So leadership and providing the right instruction, helping it to be implemented, the strategy and everything, that is the business of leading. Whether you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're a counselor, you're anybody, you have a responsibility. And you can't get away from that responsibility. You can't say, I don't want to be one. Human beings are all supposed to be responsible. They're at least supposed to be responsible of their own life. You can't be an irresponsible human being by not taking responsibility for your own life, leading yourself properly, doing the right things. Then only you'll be able to correct other people also, which you must do. Which you must do. Because others are dependent on your good advice. Society prevails on leadership of wise people. And if the wise people do wrong things, and if they start giving wrong advice by their example, what happens? Everything crumbles. Everything crumbles. That is what is the meaning of yada yada hi dharmasya glani. Krishna is saying when things go off, I'll descend and I'll finish those who are doing this wrong and I'll install those people who can do right. So continuously Krishna is teaching throughout his pastimes what is right, what is wrong and how leadership should be. This does not mean that those people who are in women's bodies, they will not be what they are. They don't have to change. They play a very important role. And they should play their role. This does not mean that always they'll be heard. Sometimes they may not be heard. Sometimes their decisions will be factored into and something would be done properly. But it will not always be possible to do what so-and-so says, because decisions are taken in a different way. And that is what is the advice given here by Prabhupada. He's saying you must use discrimination. And he's saying the word here, women tend to become emotional and may not use their discriminatory power at some times. So in a family also you'll see, it's the father who will take a upper hand and sometimes discipline the child. And the mother will take a side stand and immediately support the child as soon as she has got disciplined by the father. It's a dual role they'll play. She will tell the father he is doing like this. She'll tell her husband, you should tell him. Then as soon as he comes and says nonsense or give him a rap or something, he gets to know that they've done wrong. And he's angry, disappointed. His false ego is affected. At that time the mother will say, don't worry, your father is like that only. He gets angry and all that. And she will also say, but you shouldn't have done that. No, it's wrong. But she'll sandwich that immediately between, but you don't worry, you're my dear son. And she'll embrace him, kiss him and give him an extra sweet and give that, this, everything. But she'll drive the instruction. But you did wrong. You did wrong. What father said is correct in a way that, you should have not said it. She'll never give up and not support her husband in what he has done. Why? Both are together very interested in the child's upbringing. That is how you should do. But if the child sees both my father and mother have got a problem with the decision as to whether my father did is right or wrong, then he becomes even more hopeless. He becomes more hopeless. But this is the way to do it. One will give the slap, the other will support you. So don't go off the track. In this way you get the correct understanding from both sides. And as you grow, you understand. As you age, you understand. Very nicely they did it to me, both of them. They were very interested in me. If for them, I wouldn't have learned. So it's very challenging. Even inside a household, this type of instances occur. And sometimes the father and the mother will fight and say, you are the one who's supposed to do it. No, you do it. And they both are fighting, trying to execute, because they are not mature in understanding what is good, how we must play a role. It's not that like playing football, say a football game, everybody plays as a team. It's not that the backy is thinking, I want to be the guy who and runs to the front. Then the team won't function. He has to stay in the back. He has to play goalie. And he has to be this thing. So he's not the one trying to go in the front, but there is a man who shoots in the front. He will run and stand there, and then people pass the ball to him to shoot inside. Crisscross here and there, they will shoot. And then he will shoot it inside. It's a team job they did. He's a marksman. He'll shoot it correctly. Give him that job. And you do the dribbling, and you do the managing and dodging and everything, and taking the ball towards that side and passing it on to him. And in the back, when there is an attack, I will do my job. Everybody does their job. So in society, everybody has got their jobs to do. They must do it properly. They must be dharmically oriented. They must be Krishna conscious. There's nothing wrong in saying something is wrong. But there is something wrong if you say something wrong and say it is right. Something is seriously wrong with you and with the whole society. Especially the Krishna consciousness movement, supposed to be an example to everybody. People were like, this is a good movement. People know what is right and what is wrong, and they go by what is right. And I'm not surprised that sometimes people do wrong and they take action within their society of somebody who does wrong. It's more important, it's so idealistic to think that there'll be nothing wrong in our society. No, it will be wrong. And what will be wrong is if you see if it is wrong and don't do anything about it. That is very wrong. Then the people will lose trust in you. But I have seen it is wrong, we have taken action against what is wrong, then the society's members become reassured. I can be part of this. I can be part of it. There's a very important lesson to learn from today's purport. Om Tat Sat. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nittai Guru Premanande. Any question or comment? Power is gone. Huh? Any question or comment? Yeah.
From there, finally after the event, what happens to Ashwatthama?
That you can further read the Bhagavatam. Ashwatthama roams round, and after certain purifications in the next Kalpa, I think he is supposed to become Vyasadeva. That is also mentioned. And the 12th canto also it mentions. He is a great personality. He has done something wrong, but he goes through the necessary atonement. And in the next Kalpa, next millennium, he is Vyasadeva. A literary incarnation. That's what I remember. He made progress tremendously. Any other question or comment? Yeah.
Maharaj, how to see Srimad Bhagavatam, because here it is like mentioning, like you were explaining us, like Bhima tugging out and cutting the head and making Draupadi stand and take bath, all this so like the movies nowadays. Hare Krishna consciousness people have to provide all principles, non-violence. So how Srimad Bhagavatam?
Violence is permitted for Kshatriyas. And that also at the appropriate time. They are not always violent. They are not terrorists of violence. They are going around. They are very noble people. They also have all the other balanced human qualities. But their duty is to protect society. So they will do their duty where necessary. So violence obviously is there. Where necessary, they will become violent. Non-violence is never mentioned anywhere. There's nothing called non-violence. There's only something called violence where necessary, otherwise not required. So, what's your question?
How people see Srimad Bhagavatam?
Arey, people are used to so much violence. How they are seeing all the movies? They like violence actually. They like violence. And they are thinking, how are you violent? Why not? I'll be violent to you right now. Don't think sadhus will not be violent. If necessary, they have to be violent. They will use the Kshatriyas and be violent. Where necessary, they know. Shate shatyamachareta, Chanakya Pandit said. What weapon you need to use according to what weapon the other person is using, use it. Because it's a fight. And if you don't and you get defeated, then dharma will get defeated. You have to uphold dharma. So if necessary, you have to use violence. Sama, Veda, Dana, Danda. You will come to violence only at the end. It's physical violence that you're talking about. Since you're talking about physical violence, one can be violent in many other ways. One can be violent with words. Sometimes that is even more violence than physical violence. You can destroy a person's whole psyche. You can be violent intellectually also. You can be violent intellectually also. Some of these are more violence than physical violence. So what do you mean by violence? Violence should be used wherever necessary. Protect dharma and uphold dharma. You should not shy away from using violence. You should not say, I am non-violent. Like Prabhupada gave the example that, now we are all brothers and sisters. When the tiger comes, you go and try to embrace the tiger. I am also one of you. It will eat you up. That's not the place to be non-violent. And it's not the place to become friendly with the tiger. Don't do the wrong thing in the wrong place. Right? The tiger will definitely eat you up. If you say you are my brother and go and embrace the tiger, stupid to do it. So if there's somebody violent in front of you who is on the bodily platform, you should also lift violence and protect yourself. It's not the time to go and speak philosophy. It doesn't understand. That's what happened to India. All barbaric hordes of people came, invaders, and they completely upset everything topsy-turvy. Highly cultured people. Didn't respond in a different way. Because the Brahmins were down, the Kshatriyas were down. That's what happened. Okay? Yeah.
Maharaj, that disobedience is, we should disobedience, even if Brahmana says something, we have to obey that, even if there is something wrong, then it will be on better be obedient. But in Bali Maharaj's case, you are supposed to obedient to his guru. So, which case we should exercise and disobedience?
Yes. Place and circumstance. There's Prabhupada's point here that Ashwatthama should no more be respected as a Brahmana. You don't have to listen to his instructions. Because he is ceased acting like a Brahmana. He has done this heinous crime. So you don't have to listen to Ashwatthama's advice. That's his point here. So you should know how to judge. That's why Prabhupada is saying use your discriminatory power. Confirmed. Don't just by rote, ritualistically, mechanically use the rules and regulations. Use your brains and try to understand. Everybody is dropping things when I'm discussing this. Use your discrimination. Prabhupada taught everybody he did not want blind followers, mechanically following things. He wanted to be independently thoughtful. Independently thoughtful does not mean independent alone. Independently thoughtful does not mean that you are disobeying the authority. Independently thoughtful means you understand it properly, the instruction, and understand why it's being given. If you have a doubt, ask that question, clarify it. But I'm always willing to follow. It's just that I need a clarification. I have some little doubt about how to understand it. But I'm never going to be without following it. Right? So discriminative power and independent thoughtfulness doesn't mean that you become a useless blind follower. No, you ask questions because there are repercussions from what you will do, and therefore you should understand the instructions. Vimrishetat yaseshena yatechasi tatakuru. Krishna is also telling in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that Vimrishya, deliberate and understand what I have said to you properly and then act. Action, you are responsible. You also are responsible for your action. So you understand and execute. Don't execute blindly. Got it? Yes. Om Tat Sat. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki